football fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 1 in the league where they play. I said in the league where they play. One more time, in the league where they play. For pay! Great to be back with you. As Matthew McConaughey would say, all right. Another season of NFL football is here. Hard to believe we've been doing this show for 10 years now. Over a decade. The best audience in all of YouTube continues to be right here. Justin Bieber may have 10 billion followers, but I have the best followers right here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Didn't I just watch the Super Bowl? That was 7 months ago. How fast does time go by? I think once you get over the age of 25 years old, time moves at a supersonic pace. I cannot believe how fast time goes now. The seasons fly by, the years fly by. It's incredible. When I was younger and in school, time never moved. Time never moved. I felt like I was never getting out of the 5th grade. But now, seasons just go by so fast, years fly by, and we are in another NFL season already. Really excited about this season. And like I always tell you guys, start slow with the betting. Start slow. There's going to be teams that we think are going to be good that are going to be bad. Teams we think are going to stink who are going to surprise you. So go slow the first month. Let's let it all unfold here. Let's get a little feel for what's going on. And me personally, I always tell you this. My 2 favorite bets are the 2-team teaser and the money line. You bet the way you want, though. If you want to bet straight up against the spread, do it. You like your parlays, bet that way. You like your super teasers, I know a lot of you do, go that way. You're just as smart as me. I like the 2-team teaser. That's my favorite bet. The money line is my second favorite bet. We're just having fun here. I go through the games. I go through how I would play each game, but you guys bet the way you want. You're just as smart as me and anyone else out there. All right, we're ready to go. Week number 1, pick number 1. This is the Thursday night football game. It's a good one. Let's go out to sunny Los Angeles, the city of angels, where the Buffalo Bills are -2.5 against the LA Rams, the defending Super Bowl champion LA Rams. And I always say this every season. The team that gets hot at the end is the team that's going to win it, and the Rams were no exception last year. The Rams stumbled and bumbled a lot of last year. They had some bad losses. I trashed them a few weeks last year. Remember when they got bombed by Arizona? They took about 3 or 4 bad losses during the year. But they got hot at the end. The schedule in the playoffs fell their way. They get the home game in the Super Bowl, and they end up winning the whole thing. Stafford gets his Super Bowl after having all those tough years in Detroit. Donald finally gets his ring. Cooper Kupp was amazing. Odell Beckham Jr. gets a ring. I know he got hurt in the Super Bowl and he's a free agent now, but he gets a ring. Giant fans must love that. Rams also add Robinson, the receiver from Chicago. They do lose Woods to Tennessee, but the Rams should be good again. Stafford has a little problem with his arm. He says he's fine. So the Rams should be solid again. Will they have a Super Bowl hangover, though? That's always the question. Hard to repeat. Then you got the Buffalo Bills, who everyone loves coming into this year, who had one of the most horrific losses in playoff history to the Chiefs. That was as bad a loss as you could possibly have. Possibly have. We know the Bill offense is going to be dynamite with the Allen and Diggs combination. I know they lost their offensive coordinator who became the coach of the Giants. I think their offense is still going to be solid. Can they get enough stops on defense? They signed Von Miller. That should help. White should be back at some point this year. Remember, they lost him to an injury. The Bills have to be considered one of the favorites to get to the Super Bowl. But they still have work to do. Still have work to do, and they got to make some stops in a big spot. This is a very intriguing game, and I don't love Thursday night football, but this is a little different because it's not the typical Thursday night football where you get the short break from Sunday to Thursday. This is a little different. Both teams well rested, obviously, so there's no issue there. Very tough game. I'm going to move the line to 8.5 and take the Rams. It's a toss-up game. It's a field goal game either way. How could you possibly pick a winner here? But with 8.5 and a teaser, I got to like the Rams. Defending Super Bowl champ at home. Good defense. Hard to think, as good as Buffalo is, they're going to go into Los Angeles and blow out the Rams. I can't pick a winner in this game. This is a toss-up. This is a coin flip game. So to me, if you're going to play this game, move the line to 8.5 and take the Rams. Like I said, I don't love Thursday night football, but I'll keep an eye on this one because, we're just getting started here. I don't like the regular Thursday night football games when the team plays on Sunday and they got to play on Thursday. That's awful to me, but I guess I'm going to have to live with it. Another thing. So this game will be on NBC, but the rest of the Thursday night schedule will be on this new Amazon Prime thing where you got to sign up and pay for something else. Are you kidding me? What a joke. How many things are they going to make you sign up for and pay? I mean, this just gets ridiculous after a while. My cable bill is over $400 as it is. This is getting ridiculous. You got to pay for this, you got to pay for that. I have like 1,000 channels and I use like 50 of them. I don't even know 950 of these channels that I have. They're just a waste of time. And now they want you to pay for Amazon Prime so you can get the Thursday night games? Oh, come on. Come on, give us a break. I mean, it's just like I said, my cable bill's over $400. And, heaven forbid if you actually, buy a movie or, get a pay-per-view like boxing or UFC, then your cable bill's up to over $500. It's ridiculous. I am not paying for Amazon Prime to watch Thursday night football. And they do this with baseball, too. My cousin was telling me his grandfather was looking for the Yankee game on a Friday night. His grandfather's like 97 years old, big Yankee fan. Wants to watch a little Yankee baseball on a Friday night. Can't find it. It's on Amazon Prime. Are you kidding me? How much are they going to rob people? In this day and age with everything going on, now you're going to charge people for specific Yankee games on certain days, and Amazon Prime has the gall to put the Thursday night football games on? Oh, come on. I'll miss out. And I don't like Thursday night football to begin with, so I'll just miss out. And I know I looked at the schedule. I know some of the games are good. There's some good division games, but some of them are just atrocious. Like Week 16, Jets-Jaguars, Week 16 on Thursday Night Football. Oh yeah, sign me up for Amazon Prime for that Jet-Jaguar game. Oh yeah! That's a nice stocking stuffer before the holiday season. Are you kidding me? Jets-Jaguars in Week 16. If you're going to put the Jets-Jaguars on, you got to do it early in the season before they completely collapse. What are those teams going to be at that point? What are they going to be, like 3-12 or something? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, sign up for Amazon Prime so you can get Jets-Jaguars before the holiday season. It's a nice stocking stuffer. I'll pass. And by the way, Jets and Jaguars, that's a road trip for me. My bags are packed. And another thing, and I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, it's only pick number one. The Thursday night announcers are going to be Al Michaels, okay, and Kirk Herbstreit. Oh, say it ain't so. So not only do I got to sign up for Amazon Prime to watch the games, but then I got to listen to Kirk Herbstreit. It's bad enough I have to deal with him with college football. They shove him down your throat with college football every chance they get, and now they have the gall to put him on the NFL? On the NFL? On the NFL? Oh, please, they can't get anybody else? Now I gotta see Herbstreit again? Another day of the week talking NFL football? Why? Why? It's like with college basketball when they put the TNT crew led by that buffoon Charles Barkley on March Madness. The TNT crew covers NBA basketball. And they don't do a great job with that. And then you put them on the March Madness. Charles Barkley doesn't have a clue about college basketball. He'll pick like Western Michigan, to win the March Madness. He doesn't even know a lot about the NBA. He's the same guy that said Sacramento was going to have a surprising year last year. He gets every pick wrong. But they got to put him on college basketball, just like now they got to put Kirk Herbstreit on the NFL. Come on, I don't want to hear Kirk Herbstreit talk about NFL football. It's bad enough they jam him down your throat all year with college football. But now the NFL? Amazon Prime, sign up. Jets Jaguars with Herbstreit. Oh yeah! Take the Rams, pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go to the Big D in Dallas, Jerry's World. This is the Sunday Night Football game. Sunday Night Football announcers will be Tirico and Collinsworth. Tampa Bay -1.5 in Dallas. Tampa Bay, of course, lost to the Rams in the playoffs. Had the big comeback, but couldn't make a stop at the end. Offensive line has a lot of injuries coming into the season. Brady retired for a second. Was home with the wife and kids and said, let me get the heck out of here. He retired for about 2 weeks, ran back to the NFL. He was missing in action in preseason. We don't know where he was. He was moonlighting as Spider-Man or something. Brady's back. Gronk is officially retired as of now. Bowles takes over as coach. Bruce, Big Bruce, he goes into the front office for Tampa Bay. They tried to replace Gronk with Rudolph. Remember, Rudolph was a very good tight end for the Vikings. He was deplorable with the Giants last year. He retired. But once Gronk retired, Rudolph said, let me get in on this Tampa Bay act. So now Rudolph is the tight end for Tampa Bay. Watch him have a good season to really annoy Giant fans. You would think Tampa Bay would still be good. They have a lot of weapons. Offensive line is a problem, and can they make enough stops? Can they make enough stops? But you got to think their offense is going to be good. Dallas, same old boys last year. Win the division, have high expectations, lose to San Francisco in the playoffs. Prescott, the whole thing with the clock. Prescott did not play well in that game. Neither did Lamb. Where was the big receiver Lamb in that game? He was non-existent. Elliott is a shadow of what he used to be at running back. Running backs have a short shelf life now, and Elliott is a perfect example. Then you got, McCarthy. McCarthy is on thin ice this year. Because remember, Peyton stepped away from the New Orleans Saints. He's taken a year off. If McCarthy doesn't win big this year, like get to a Super Bowl, he's going to be out and Peyton will be in. As a matter of fact, if Peyton wanted to coach this year, I think McCarthy would already be out. Jerry Jones is dying to get Peyton as the coach. And if McCarthy doesn't get to a Super Bowl this year, he will be out and Peyton will be in. Gallup is hurt. He will start the year on IR, I believe. He'll miss a few games. We'll see if he gets back during the season. Cowboys also lose Amari Cooper. He goes to the Browns. Cowboys, you have to think they're going to be good again. You have to think they're the class of the division. But again, what are they going to do in the playoffs? They've had so many disappointing playoff games. How do you like Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones calls a press conference in the middle of the summer. Breaking news on ESPN, Jerry Jones press conference. Wow, what does Jerry Jones got to say? What's happening? Is he stepping down? Is he selling the team? Is he trading Prescott? Is McCarthy fired? What's going on? Jerry Jones gets up there in front of all the cameras like he loves to do, and he says, this is what he says. The Cowboys need to be more viable in the playoffs. Thank you very much. That's what you had to say, Jerry Jones, in the middle of the summer? The Cowboys have to be more viable in the playoffs? Well, no kidding. Thanks for telling me that. I thought you were going to get up there and say the Cowboys can go out in the first round again. That's what you come out there and say in a press conference? The Cowboys need to be more viable in the playoffs? What? Jerry Jones, sit down and shut up. The guy never stops talking. he has a love affair with cameras. He wants to be the owner, the coach, the GM. He would want to be quarterback if he could. Jerry Jones, sit down and shut up. As far as this particular game, Tampa Bay -1.5 in Dallas, I'm moving the line to 7.5 and I'm taking Dallas. I get the home field, I get 7.5. Tampa Bay, like I said, offensive line injuries, got a bunch of guys banged up on the offensive line, and Dallas should be able to move the ball against Tampa Bay. This should be a high-scoring game. Maybe the last team that has the ball wins, but I certainly like Dallas with 7.5. I even think Dallas can win this game. So I'm taking the boys with pick number 2. How about them Cowboys? Oh, by the way, another thing, another rant. I'm sorry, I'm going off early here. I just realized this because I was talking about Elliott before, the running back. I'm watching a college football game last week in San Diego State and Arizona, of all games, on CBS, which is weird to see those two teams on CBS. I'm expecting an SEC game, and I get San Diego State and Arizona, and Gary Danielson calling the game. Very bizarre. And Gary Danielson has the gall to say Alvin Kamara and Marshall Faulk were the 2 greatest running backs in college football history. Marshall Faulk's on the sidelines at San Diego State because he played there. That's why Gary Danielson started this ridiculousness. Alvin Kamara and Marshall Faulk are the 2 greatest running backs in college football history. Again, Gary Danielson, what planet are you on? Are you some sort of nut? What are you talking about? Have we not forgotten about Barry Sanders? What about Archie Griffin, who won the Heisman twice? What about Tony Dorsett? What about Bo Jackson? Ever heard of him? How about Herschel Walker? Herschel Walker. Gary, ever heard of him? And I'm not even counting the real old-timers, like Jim Brown at Syracuse and all of them. Alvin Kamara, listen, very good player. Same with Marshall Faulk. Alvin Kamara is not the greatest running back in college football history, Danielson. Get a clue! I felt like Gary Danielson had heat stroke out there in San Diego. I couldn't believe when he said that. I almost fell off my chair. I said, he can't be serious. Alvin Kamara? The greatest running back in college football history. Marshall Faulk was a very good player. They're not 1 and 2 in college football history. Has he forgotten these other players I mentioned? That's just a few. I'm not even talking about the old-timers. You never heard of Herschel Walker? You never heard of Bo Jackson? You never heard of Barry Sanders? Archie Griffin's 2 Heismans don't mean anything to you, Gary? Tony Dorsett? Oh my goodness, Alvin Kamara, the greatest running back? Oh my God. You just can't make it up. Gary Danielson, get a clue. Get a clue. Get out of the sun. Anyway, like I said, Dallas, pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go back out to Los Angeles with the LA Chargers, a -3.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders were 10-7 last year, lost to Cincinnati in the playoffs, which is actually a pretty good year considering all the Gruden madness that went on. John Madden passed away last year as well. Condolences. We're going to miss John Madden. Boom! Raiders, of course, get Adams from Green Bay. That's a very nice pickup. Chargers, they were 9-8 last year. Didn't make the playoffs because they lost to the Texans at the end of the year. Yeah, the Texans got blown out by them. Didn't make the playoffs. Justin Herbert is going to be a stud if he's not already. He's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So the Chargers, to me, are going to be good for the next decade. How good, though? And can we get some Charger fans in the building? Are there any Charger fans out there? Every time I watch a Charger game, whether it's in San Diego or in Los Angeles, the other team has the majority of the fans. What's going on? The Chargers have been around for a long time. And I know Los Angeles is, Ram and Raider territory, and a lot of people that live in Los Angeles aren't from there, but you're telling me there's no Charger fans? Come on, get some fans in the building. Very intriguing game. Big divisional game early here. Chargers at home -3.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take the Raiders. It's too tough a game. It's a field goal game either way, just like the first two games. How could you pick this game either way? I mean, if I asked you who was going to win, 50% of you would say the Chargers, 50% would say the Raiders. It's a flip of the coin game. Now with the teaser, I get 9.5, and you gotta like the Raiders that way. So I'm going to take the Raiders with 9.5 in a very interesting early division game. Raiders, pick number 3. Just win, baby! Pick number 4. Let's go up to Minnesota with the Green Bay Packers, a -2.5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings had a disappointing 8-9 season. Zimmer finally out. Kevin O'Connell takes over. They still got Cousins, though. You know how I feel about him. He's up and down and all around. Green Bay, speaking of horrible playoff losses, they also had a horrible playoff loss to San Francisco. Green Bay's making a habit of losing playoff games at home, and Rodgers now is starting to make a habit of playing bad in playoff games. Rodgers signs the massive extension to stay in Green Bay, but because he took every dime from Green Bay, they had to trade Adams. Rodgers, do you need $50 million a year? You can't live on $30 million a year so they can keep your favorite receiver, Adams? Come on, Rodgers. And that's the good thing about players like Brady. Brady will take less money so they can spend it, on other players. Rodgers took every dime he could from Green Bay, and then they had to trade Adams away. So now Green Bay's stuck with a lot of young, inexperienced receivers, and Rodgers was already squawking about it in the preseason. It's your own fault, Rodgers. And you need to play better in the playoffs and stop blaming everyone else. And I love Aaron Rodgers. He's a Hall of Famer. He's won a Super Bowl. But to be an immortal, he's got to do more. This is another very interesting early division game. Green Bay -2.5 in the dome at Minnesota. I'm going to move it to 8.5 and take Minnesota. Minnesota always plays well in that loud dome. Green Bay doesn't play great in Minnesota. And with Green Bay having these young, inexperienced receivers, I don't think they're going to be as potent on offense. So I think Minnesota can hang in the game. So I like them with 8.5 at home. I'll take the Vikings there. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go down to South Beach, Miami. Sly Stallone in the house with the Miami Dolphins a -3 against the New England Patriots. Dolphins had a very peculiar year last year. They started 1-7. They finished 9-8. That was a great turnaround. Fell a little short for the playoffs. Now they get Hill from Kansas City. That's got to help. That's got to help Tua. Dolphins could be a very interesting team this year. Patriots, they were 10-7 last year. They started slow, then got hot, then faded late, got bombed by Buffalo in the playoffs, but overall, a successful year, I think. And I like what I see from the young quarterback, Mac Jones. I think he's going to be good. Again, here we go again, like the last couple of picks, another early season good division matchup. Another field goal game that could go either way. Like, the first 4 or 5 picks I've said here. A flip of the coin game. So again, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to move the line to 9 in a 2-team teaser and take the Pats. Because I don't know who's going to win this game, but I think it's going to be close. So if I had to play it, +9 with New England, I think it's going to be close. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to the Great Northwest in Seattle. This is the Monday Night Football game where you'll get Buck and Aikman on the Monday Night Football call. With the Denver Broncos a -6 against the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, Denver has Russell Wilson now as their quarterback. Denver does have a good defense. You'd expect them to be much improved in a very good division. Kansas City, Denver, the Chargers, the Raiders, that's a very good division. Seattle, they're in rebuild mode now. complete rebuild mode. Carroll is going to show you what kind of coach he is because he's got a lot of rebuilding to do. They do sign Metcalf to the big extension. I want to see Metcalf when the team's 2-5 if he starts complaining. He got his money, but is he going to get the ball now? Now, I thought when Seattle got Locke, they were going to start him. But no. And Locke is no great quarterback. He's had flashes, but not enough of them. He's a backup. Can Geno Smith come out and play? Oh, yeah. Geno Smith is the Seattle Seahawks starting quarterback. And remember last year we talked about this? We didn't know that Geno Smith was even in the league. That's what happens with these backup quarterbacks. You lose track of them. You don't even realize they're in the league. Oh, Geno Smith's still in the league, and he's starting for the once proud Seattle Seahawks. Oh, yeah, they're in complete rebuild mode, and they're looking at last place. Shout out, by the way, to two of my loyal listeners, Ryan and Amy down in Richmond, Virginia. Ryan's a big Seahawk fan in Richmond, Virginia, of all places. Ryan, all I can tell you is suffer through this year, but it's a great class of quarterbacks coming out in the draft next year. You should be able to get one of those. But I think it's going to be a long year for the Hawks this year. So I am going with Denver here. Denver's -6 in Seattle. I'm going to move it to Pick'em, and I'm going to take the Broncos. Russell Wilson going back into Seattle. He's going to be very motivated. Denver's got a good defense. And what could you possibly like about Seattle? You can't like Geno Smith. They're a shadow of what they used to be. You have to think Denver is going to shut them down. I know the Seattle fans are awesome, but they're not playing. I like Denver here at Pick'em to win this game. So I'm going Broncos, pick number 6. And by the way, another thing. And I thought of this with Troy Aikman because he'll be calling this game. Can Troy Aikman just stop with Josh Rosen? Now, Troy Aikman went to UCLA, great quarterback at UCLA. Josh Rosen went to UCLA as well. Josh Rosen has been a bust in the NFL. He's been on like a half dozen teams already. I see the Browns just signed him to the practice squad. Troy Aikman keeps telling me Josh Rosen is going to be a good quarterback in this league. Troy Aikman, stop. Okay, stop with the UCLA Kool-Aid. Okay, you're not fooling anybody. Okay, you're not fooling anybody with that. Josh Rosen is not going to be a good NFL quarterback. If he was going to be good, he would have been good before now. Okay, Troy, stop with the UCLA blue and gold pom-poms. Josh Rosen was signed to the practice squad with the Browns. Consider that a victory, Aikman. He's not starting anywhere in this league. He's not good. Accept it. Broncos, pick number 6. Pick number 7, let's go to the capital, Washington, D.C., where we now have the Washington Commanders, and I do not like that name at all. I would have picked something else, like the Red Tails, the Red Hogs, something with red in it. I do not like the name Washington Commanders. But that's what it is. The Washington Commanders are -3 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll see if Trevor Lawrence for Jacksonville takes a step forward this year. Washington, they have now Carson Wentz at quarterback. Yes, Carson Wentz. Heineke will be the backup. Remember, the Colts with Carson Wentz last year were about to go to the playoffs, and they lost the last game of the year to Jacksonville. That was the end of Wentz. So he is now over on Washington. I think Washington overpaid to get Wentz. I think Wentz is okay, but he's no star. I just don't think he's that great. So that's kind of an odd move to me. Washington seemed desperate there. Heineke's not the answer either. So Washington, to me, still has quarterback troubles. I don't trust Wentz anymore. Gone are the days of Wentzylvania, when Wentz first came in the league with Philadelphia, when we thought he was going to be better than this. He has moments, but he's not consistent. So you got Washington at home, -3 against Jacksonville. Wow, I'll tell you, I don't do road trips on the first week, but I'll tell you, my bags were close to being packed for this one. My bags were close to being packed. Not just yet, though. Not yet. This is a slop bowl. I am going to move the line to 9, and yes, I'm going to take Jacksonville. I can't believe I said that. I'm going to move the line and take Jacksonville because, again, I have no clue what's going to happen in this game. This is messy, ugly, sloppy. Sloppy. I don't know what you're going to get, but it should be sloppy, ugly football. Jacksonville did spend a lot of money in the offseason. We'll see if it pays dividends. I'll move it to 9 and take the Jaguars. Just because I don't think Washington with Wentz is capable of blowing anyone out. I'll take Jacksonville to hang around. It is week 1. How bad could they be? And I will, I'll go Jacksonville there. I'm reluctant to do it, but I'll do it. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go down to Carolina, North Carolina, with the Carolina Panthers, a -3 against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, of course, gets Deshaun Watson, pays him the largest contract in NFL history. Then he gets suspended for the first 11 games. So now Cleveland's quarterback is Brissett. You know Brissett, he's a meat and potatoes guy. He can hold the fort down for a while. He's no starter, but he can hold the fort down. The backup quarterback is Dobbs, who's nothing more than a third-string quarterback. So you don't want Brissett to get hurt, Cleveland. You can hang around with Brissett. Dobbs comes in there, your season's going to fall apart. Carolina, Baker Mayfield will start. Darnold is hurt, so Mayfield wins that quarterback battle. We'll see about Mayfield. He's another guy that's up and down and all around. You just don't know what you're going to get from him. And this is another game. You got Mayfield on one side, playing his former team. You got Brissett in for Watson with Cleveland. Cleveland's supposed to be really good, but again, with Brissett, who knows? This is another choppy game. Choppy game. So I'm going to move this line to 9, and I'm going to take Cleveland. I have no idea who's going to win this game. So I'll take the points. If I have to play it, Cleveland with 9 is a lot better than picking this game straight up. So I'll go Browns there, plus 9, pick number 8. And I thought of this, thinking of Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm watching the Ohio State Notre Dame game. And Holly Rowe is the sideline reporter. You know Holly Rowe. She's all over the place. She covers everything. She reminds me actually of a linebacker for the Washington Commanders. I always picture her, playing linebacker or something, or offensive line or something like that. She looks like she can make one of these teams. She's that big. But anyway, she asked the Ohio State coach right before kickoff. Now listen, they've talked about this Ohio State Notre Dame game for months. They've overanalyzed like they do everything else. They've asked every question in the book. They are about to kick off. She grabs the coach, who has more important things to do, for yet another mindless interview. Coach, your Ohio State team is ranked 2nd. A lot of people say Ohio State has great talent this year. What would you like people out there to know about the great talent that you have? That's the question you bothered the coach with right before kickoff? What would you like people out there to know about the great talent that you have? And the coach is like, well, that they're really talented? Like, what do you say? Mindless questions, unnecessary interviews. There's too many of them. Kick off the game and play the game. Holly Rowe, another one. Move out of the way. Go try out for offensive line for Washington. I think you'd make it. We don't need to hear you asking mindless questions. I heard so much bad reporting and commentating on the college football games the last week. It was nauseating. I'm watching Texas, San Antonio, and Houston. And that's Houston with a U, as I say it. Yeah, Texas, San Antonio, and Houston. That's what I'm watching. Aaron Taylor is doing the game. And they throw a pass interference call on Texas, San Antonio on the sidelines. The defensive back was all over the receiver. And Aaron Taylor is screaming. How could the refs throw a flag thinking that guy was out of bounds? He didn't step out of bounds. Why did they throw the flag thinking he was out of bounds? And he wasn't out of bounds, and he wasn't out of bounds. Aaron Taylor, they didn't throw the flag because the guy ran out of bounds. They threw the flag because he was interfered with. How long have you been watching and playing football and you don't know that? Oh my goodness. Mindless, just mindless commentary. I can't believe they threw the flag. He didn't go out of bounds. He didn't go out of bounds. No, he didn't go out of bounds. He got interfered with. They were calling PI. Come on, Taylor, wake up! I'm watching North Carolina against Appalachian State. Oh yeah, I'm watching that game too. North Carolina is up 1. Less than a minute ago, Appalachian State tries an onside kick. North Carolina fields it, runs it back for a touchdown, kicks the extra point, goes up 8. Which actually, in the end, did Appalachian State a favor, because what North Carolina should have done when they got the onside kick is fall down and kneel on it. Because when they ran it back, they're only up 8. They give Appalachian State another chance, and sure enough, App State goes down the field, scores. They missed the 2-pointer, but you get my point. Not one commentator, 3 in the booth, 2 on the sidelines, said North Carolina should have fielded the onside kick and not scored. Not one of them said it. Not one of them said it. That's terrible broadcasting. That's deplorable broadcasting. That's unprofessional broadcasting. And I saw it all over. Every channel I went on, every game I went on, the commentary was deplorable. The questions just as bad. It's almost like they're not watching the game. Sorry, another rant early in the season. So, Jacksonville +9, pick number 7. I skipped over that one. Carolina was pick number 8. I'm already messing up early in the season. Pick number 9, we got it back together. Let's go down to Houston, Texas. As I just mentioned them in college, we're going pro Houston. Houston with a U, where the Indianapolis Colts are -8 against the Houston Texans. Colts bring over Matt Ryan from the Falcons. That's interesting. I think it's a good spot for Matt Ryan to land. Colts have a good running game. They have a good team. I thought they should have made the playoffs last year. That's a good spot for Matt Ryan. I think he'll do well there. Houston Texans, Mills is the quarterback. He had moments, but he's not any great. Kyle Allen is the backup. Forget him. John Mechie III, who they drafted, the really good receiver, he's going to miss the whole season with leukemia. That's a real shame. We wish him well. I'm sure he's going to recover 100%. We'll see him back on the field next year. But that's a shame he's going to miss the whole year recovering from leukemia. So the Texans with Mills, you can't expect much from them. The spread's 8. I know it's in Houston. I'm going to move it to 2 and take the Colts. I think the Colts are just better than the Texans. And I think Matt Ryan, first game with the Colts, is going to want to make a big statement here. He's going to be very motivated, just like Russell Wilson for Denver. He's going to want to play very, very well here, and I think he will, and he's got the perfect opponent to do it against. The Texans aren't very good. They're one of the worst teams in the league. The Colts should manhandle the Texans. Manhandle. Don't lose to the Texans, Colts, after you lost the last game of the year to Jacksonville last year and missed the playoffs, and you jettisoned Wentz out of here. Don't start the Matt Ryan era off with a loss to the Texans. Can't do it. Can't do it. Shouldn't do it. Taking the Colts -2 in Houston. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from here, where the Baltimore Ravens are -6.5 against the New York Football Jets. Baltimore last year was absolutely decimated with injuries. They tried, they hung in there, they were decimated with injuries. Jackson still has not got the contract extension. We'll see how that plays on him. Wants a big contract extension. Ravens haven't given it to him so far. We'll keep an eye on that. Baltimore, though, should be much better than last year. They always do a great job with personnel. They're always competitive. And like I said, decimated last year. They'll be better this year. Then you got the New York Football Jets, who, of course, had a typical New York Jet football season last year. I feel like the Jets, since Joe Namath, have been good in like maybe a handful of seasons, and the rest of them, they're atrocious. Zach Wilson is hurt. He's questionable for the opener. He was shaky at best last year. The coach, who I loved, was also shaky last year. He had a baffled look on his face, and I liked when the Jets hired him. He's got something to prove as well. So if Wilson can't go this week, you'll have Joe Flacco. Yeah, Joe Flacco. Can't get rid of him. Flacco, at 100 years old, he may quarterback. Or you might get the great Mike White. Yeah, Mike White, who sounds like he's, came out of a James Bond movie. Or that game Clue. Mike White with the candlestick in the library. Mike White, who had one good game last year, and all the Jet fans thought he was Joe Willie Namath. Settle down, he's not. He's a third stringer. So we don't know who's quarterbacking the Jets. And by the way, how about this receiver for the Jets, Mims, who has been in the league like 2 years, hasn't done anything, wants a trade from the Jets. Who are you, Mims? Who are you, Jerry Rice? Who are you? Who are you to demand anything? Another one. Shut up, okay? Just shut up. The guy's in the league 2 years, hasn't done anything. He's demanding trades like he's Jerry Rice. Please. You can trust the Ravens. You can never trust the Jets. It's 6.5. I'm going to move it down to basically pick them in a two-team teaser. I have to like the Ravens. You can trust Baltimore. You cannot trust the New York Football Jets. Can't do it. You just can't do it. And we don't even know who's quarterbacking. It could be Wilson, it could be Flacco, it could be White. Who knows? Who knows? I know the Ravens are going to be at least decent this year. The Jets, they usually smell. And they could stink again this year. Ravens, because I can trust them. Can't trust the Jets. It's pick number 10. Pick number 11, let's go to the jungle in Cincinnati. Hooday! With the Cincinnati Bengals are -6 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati gets all the way to the Super Bowl, has a heartbreaking loss to the Rams. Burrow was tremendous. Receiver was tremendous. Bright future for Cincinnati. They did a great job in the playoffs. They upset Kansas City. Future is bright for the Bengals for a long time, and Burrow is the real deal. The real deal. Pittsburgh, a new era in Pittsburgh. No more Big Ben. They draft Pickett. Pickett will not start, though. Pickett will not start. Look good in preseason. That doesn't mean much. They will go with Trubisky. Now, listen, you're not going to go far with Trubisky. You're just biding time until Pickett's ready. Pickett will eventually be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But right now, it'll be Trubisky. Trubisky might be all right for a while, but you're not winning big with him. Division game, I always like to take the underdog in these division games, unless the team's completely deplorable. I don't think the Steelers are going to be that bad. They're always competitive. Tomlin's never had a losing season. So I'm going to move the line to 12.5 and take Pittsburgh to at least hang around in this game. Hang around in this game. Like I said, Trubisky will be all right. Pittsburgh will be competitive. They don't have losing seasons. They should be able to hang in this game. I don't think they're going to get blown out here. So I like Pittsburgh plus 12.5 in another division game. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12, let's go down to Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Have you ever been down to Nashville, Tennessee? If you like music, get down there. With the Tennessee Titans are -6 against the New York Football Giants. Tennessee was 12-5 last year. Fortunately lost to Cincinnati in the playoffs. They trade A.J. Brown to Philly. They do get Woods over from the Rams, so they do get Woods. Now, Tannehill's getting a little long in the tooth. What is he, 34, 35 years old? So they drafted Willis in the 4th round, and he had a very good preseason. So if Tannehill struggles, maybe you get Wilson in there. Maybe you get Wilson in there. Landry's hurt, so he's going to miss the whole year, I think. Good pass rusher, so they're going to miss him. Tennessee, though, well coached, good team, should be good again this year. Giants. Oh boy, the Giants. Where do you start with them? Let's start with Daniel Jones. Put up or shut up, Daniel Jones. The time is now. If Daniel Jones does not have a big season, he will be gone. They haven't signed him to an extension. This is it for Daniel Jones. Me personally, I think Daniel Jones is not that good. I think if he was going to be good, he would have been good long before now. He's got butterfingers. He's shaky. I think he'll be off the Giants after this season. It's a good draft class coming out. I think the Giants will draft a quarterback. And enough with Tyrod Taylor, who's the backup for the Giants. And I expect Jones to start the opener. Tyrod Taylor, they were raving about in preseason. Tyrod Taylor is not the long-term answer for the New York Football Giants. He's a veteran quarterback. He's a backup. He starts on a bad team. He's not going to start on a good team. He's not going to lead you to the Super Bowl. He throws a nice deep ball. He has moments, but not enough of them. He's not the long-term answer, so let's shut that down. Brian Daboll, of course, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, comes over as the coach. Listen, it's a roll of the dice at best. We don't know what he's going to be because he doesn't bring Josh Allen with him. He doesn't bring Allen with him. You know, he's got Jones and Taylor to work with. So yeah, he did some great things with Buffalo, but can he do it with the Giants? So it's a roll of the dice at best. I don't know if he's going to be good or bad. And the Giants these days are going through coaches like they're handing out candy. The Giants replace coaches every 2 years now. Remember when everyone got on Tom Coughlin? You know, he only won a couple of Super Bowls. The Giants have had nothing but bad coaches lately. How about Judge? What a dud he turned out to be. Comes in the press conference, I'm the new sheriff in town. He was a disaster. So we'll see about this coach now. And how about the receiver, Mr. Galladay? Let's talk about Galladay for a second. Giants signed him last year to a contract. He used to play for Tennessee. 4 years, $72 million. I'm no mathematician, but that's $18 million a year for Mr. Galladay. You know how many touchdowns Galladay had last year? Zero. Zero. Nada. Zilch. None. No touchdowns. $72 million. Oh yeah. What a complete bust. And he played like a dog last year. I watched a few games where he didn't even try and catch the ball. He had alligator arms. Forget diving. He's not going to do that. He was like this trying to catch the ball. Come on, Galladay. Show me something. Give me some sort of effort. And if you don't want to play football anymore, just retire. We've had enough of you. What a bust. He played like a dog last year. Will Galladay catch a touchdown pass this year? That's the question. Tennessee at home -6.5 against the New York Football Giants. I'm going to move it to 12.5 and take the Giants. New coach. I have to think they're going to be sky high for the new coach. Tennessee maybe not as explosive as they were last year without A.J. Brown. You know how Tennessee plays. Rely on that running game with Henry. Play a lot of close games. You know how the Tennessee plays. I think the Giants can hang around in this game. I'm taking a chance. Always taking a chance with these New York Football Giants, especially lately, these last few years. But it's week 1. Pick a few different teams. I took Jacksonville. Take the Giants here, plus 12.5. Not necessarily to win the game, but I'll go 12.5. They're inspired with the new coach. Daniel Jones, you got to do it now. Giants were all banged up last year. They should be a little more healthy. We'll see about this pass rusher they drafted in the first round. He's got a lot of talent. He says he doesn't love to play football, though. That's alarming, but he's got a lot of talent. We'll see how he does, the rookie from Oregon. I'm going to say the Giants hang around in this game. I'm going to take a chance, take them with 12.5 here. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13, let's go to the desert in Arizona with the Kansas City Chiefs at -4.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Kansas City lost at home to Cincinnati in the playoffs last year. Then they lose Hill to the Dolphins. You still expect Kansas City to have a very good record. Andy Reid always does well in the regular season. And when you have Mahomes, how bad can you be? Arizona, they started strong again last year and faded again. That's becoming a habit for Arizona. Big year for the coach Kingsbury. If he doesn't produce more, he's gone. Murray, interesting year for them. He signed He signed a long-term extension, but he's been grumbling in the offseason. We'll see about Murray. Hopkins, who means so much to the team and was out the end of last year, which is one of the reasons they played so lousy. He's now suspended, I think, the first 6 games of this year because of PDs. That's not good. They do get Hollywood Brown over from the Ravens. They do have A.J. Green and Ertz. They got some veterans. They got some weapons. Try and hold it down until Hopkins gets back. They should be good, Arizona, but how good? They can't just be 9-8 this year. They got to be better than that, or Kingsbury's going to be gone. And then Murray's going to be rumbling again. Spread's 4.5 in Arizona. I'm going to move the line to 10.5 and take Arizona. I get Arizona, the home field, and I don't think Kansas City's going to be as explosive as they were without Hill. I watched so many games with Kansas City the last few years, and any time they needed a big explosive play, it was Hill. Mahomes running around, Hill. Mahomes scrambling, Hill. Big play to Hill. Big play to Hill. They don't have him anymore. He's a game changer. He's a tough guy to lose. Now, I'm not saying Kansas City's going to be bad. Oh, they're going to be good. No question about that. I think they take a little step back without Hill. And I think if I can get Arizona with 10.5 at home, I'll grab it despite not having Hopkins. So I'll take Arizona there. That's pick number 13. Pick number 14. Let's go to the Motor City in Detroit, where the Philadelphia Eagles are -4.5 against the Detroit Lions. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Philadelphia went 9-8 last year with Hurts. We still don't know how good he's going to be. Still has a lot to prove. Like I mentioned before, they get A.J. Brown over from Tennessee, so that'll help. Lost to Tampa Bay in the playoffs last year, Philadelphia. Philadelphia, since winning the Super Bowl, they've been kind of around 9-8. It's funny, they're up and down a lot. They did make the playoffs last year. Then you got the Lions. They had another miserable season last year. How would you like to be Goff, the quarterback for the Lions? You get within a hair of winning the Super Bowl with the Rams a few years ago, a game you could have won against New England, you lose. Then you get jettisoned off to Detroit, and Stafford, in his first year with the Rams, wins the Super Bowl. How do you think that sat with Mr. Goff? That couldn't have felt good. That couldn't have felt good at all. I mean, not at all. Dan Campbell, the coach, you know him. He's always blubbering after every game. He's very emotional. A lot of people like that. Here's the thing, though, you got to win. Dan Campbell, you can blubber and, after every game, but you have to win more games. It's plain and simple. And I was here last year with this game. I think the exact same spot. Philadelphia -4.5 in Detroit. And I took Detroit with the 10.5 in a teaser. And Philadelphia won 44-6. Now, Detroit, you have to remember that. You have to remember being embarrassed. Right? You have to play better this time around. So I'm going to go back on Detroit. I know I'm a glutton for punishment. 10.5 again. I'm taking the Lions this year. They have to play better than last year. And Campbell, if you lose 44-6 this year, save the tears. I don't want to hear it. Okay? Enough with the tears. Enough with the blubbering in the postgame. Okay? I know a lot of people love that about you. He's very emotional. Yeah, win some games. Show me something here. At least hang in the game. Don't get blown out. I'll take the Lions. Plus 10.5 in the Motor City. Pick number 15. Let's go to the Windy City in Chicago. With the San Francisco 49ers are -7 against the Chicago Bears. New era in San Francisco. Lance will get the start. Garoppolo will still be on the team. He's the backup. They couldn't trade him. He's coming off an injury. He'll still be with the team, but Lance is getting the opportunity to start. We'll see about him. He's another guy we just don't know. Didn't see a lot of him last year. I thought he'd be on the field more. He wasn't. Samuel, of course, outstanding receiver for San Francisco. They signed him to a long-term deal. That'll help Lance. San Francisco should be good. They should be good. And you got Chicago. Expectations are very low for Chicago. Fields, another one. We just don't know. We saw flashes, but we don't know. And he doesn't have a lot to work with here. Chicago's supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. Not a lot to work with. So I don't know how Fields is going to play here. Spread 7 in Chicago. I'm going to move it to 1 and take the Niners. I think the Niners are just better than Chicago. I think they are. I know Lance, you just don't know about him, but you don't know about Fields either, so that's a wash. I think San Francisco all over the field is better than Chicago, and San Francisco should be able to shut down Chicago's offense. And San Francisco should get some things done offensively of their own. They should be able to mash Chicago. So I like San Francisco here. I just don't see enough with Chicago. They just don't have enough talent. Where is it? They just don't have it. So I'll go Niners there, -1 and 2 team teasers. One other thing. I love Soldier Field in Chicago. It's one of those iconic stadiums. I wish they would play there forever. Apparently, they're looking for a new stadium in Chicago, a new stadium somewhere in Chicago, the suburbs, wherever. They want a new stadium. They want to get out of Soldier Field. Okay, I can see that. I personally would love if they stayed there. They want a new stadium. I know how that works. They're talking about putting a dome in Chicago. Oh, please, no. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Chicago is about the elements and the snow and the rain, like Green Bay. I don't like the Detroit and Minnesota play outside. Chicago's going to possibly have a dome stadium. Oh, no, no, no. No, say it ain't so. No, Chicago's got to play outside. I remember when they retired Dick Butkus's number, and it was a deluge. And they retired his number at halftime of a Monday Night Football game. They were thinking about canceling it. That's how bad it was. And Dick Butkus said, no, I'm going out there. This is Chicago weather. And he went out there in the rain and snow and gave a speech as he almost blew away on the field. But like he said, that's Chicago weather, and all the fans stayed for Butkus. That's respect, by the way. As Sean Connery would say, that's the Chicago way. Chicago needs to play outside. Don't build a dome stadium. I'll even halfway it. Build a retractable dome, keep it open for the elements, and go have your concerts inside. I'll meet you halfway. Chicago's got to play outside. I'll go Niners there. That's pick number 15. And last, let's go to Atlanta, the ATL, with the New Orleans Saints. Who dat? A -6 against the Atlanta Falcons. Saints, they have a lot of change as well. So many years we had Peyton and Drew Brees, and now we don't have either one of them. Peyton steps away from coaching. Drew Brees retired. You have Dennis Allen as the coach. Winston will be quarterbacking. Remember, he missed all last year. Michael Thomas should finally be back at receiver after being out for 2 years. They also have Landry. So the Saints have weapons along with Kamara. Saints should be at least decent. Should be good. Just don't know how good. How good are they going to be? They're not going to have the best record in the NFL. One person I was talking to said the Saints are going to have the best record in the NFL. No, that's not going to happen. Could they have a winning season? Yes. But it could go the other way too if Winston starts throwing interceptions. Saints do have some talent, but it's a different feel in New Orleans. No Peyton and no Drew Brees. That hasn't happened in a long time. A long time they had those two guys. And then you got the Falcons like Chicago. Expectations are mighty low. How low? Well, Marcus Mariota is your quarterback. Yes, Marcus Mariota is the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, not Matt Ryan. Marcus Mariota. They did draft Ritter, but he won't start. Ridley out the whole year for gambling. What was he thinking? I mean, come on, Ridley. I do like the big tight end for Atlanta. He's a plus, but they don't have a lot of talent. And just like the last game, it's hard for me to pick Atlanta. I'd love to take Atlanta here. I love taking the underdog in these division games, especially with the home team. Atlanta just doesn't have a lot to work with. And I don't love this game, and I'm probably just going to stay away from this game altogether. It's not one of my favorite plays. If I had to pick it, I'd move it to pick them and take the Saints. Not a lot to work with Atlanta, and I don't love Marcus Mariota. And not that Winston is great on the other side coming off an injury, and he could be an interception machine. I think the Saints just have too much talent here. They're just a more talented team. Again, though, I'm not going anywhere near this game personally. If I had to pick it, take the Saints to win. That's pick number 16. There you go. You're all caught up for week number 1 as we start a brand new NFL season. Great to be back with you guys. It really is. Hope we have a big season. Hope we pick a lot of winners. I hope we make a lot of money. I will be doing the show, as always, each and every Tuesday. I should have the video up sometime in mid-late afternoon every Tuesday. Thanks, as always, for the support. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Great to be back. Take care.